Inspiration Manifestation.
That was a good episode.
Rarity was freaky in this one.
Terrifying. She ate a lot of ice cream.
Oh, no. That just kept being funny.
Yeah. I can't imagine, though.
God, could you imagine Rarity grief eating like that, like right from the get-go in season 1?
Yeah. I'd imagine that's what she'd do if she was upset.
She dragged a fainting couch with her to a picnic.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have a fainting couch? What? The fainting couch was there, too. It's also her crying couch, apparently.
Yeah?
You didn't think I was just going to fall on the ground, did you? I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. It was pretty scary at times, but it was a Spike and Rarity episode, of course.
I think it would have been... Here's a good question. Was the magical aura, like, non-dijag?
I think others can see it.
You think others can see it? Then why did nobody notice that the spell was taking her over?
Well, nobody saw her but Spike, and all Spike sees is Rarity.
Rarity.
So, yeah, I think the only reason Spike didn't notice was just because it was Rarity, and, you know, he's, what's the word? Obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much the right word, obsession. But I have to imagine, though. In the end, remember, she says, oh, you should never have to worry about telling a friend the truth. What if he had said, you're eating a bit too much ice cream, you're gaining a bit of a pudge?
I'll kill you!
Pretty much, I'll kill you! And would have chased him probably all through Equestria.
All the way to the Badlands.
Mm-hmm.
Where they both get eaten by dragons.
Well, would a dragon eat another dragon? I think they just torture Spike.
Yeah.
Poor Spike. Oh wait, this didn't really happen. We just made this up.
I don't know. They seem to exclusively eat gems.
True. Because, you know, in D&D, dragons love horses. I mean, they really love horses. Yum. Red horses. Yum. But really. And that ice cream flavor, what was it? Vanilla oat swirl?
Vanilla oat swirl.
Do they have a food in this universe called spaghetti oats?
Maybe. I say yes.
Spaghetti oats.
Spaghetti oats.
Uh-oh, spaghetti oats. But
they actually do have spaghetti.
Which is funny, though, because the main flavors are oat and vanilla. But the ice cream was pink with chocolate chips.
Animation error?
Derpy's an animation error.
That she is. And then she was a voice error, which they fixed.
Oh. That's still a very difficult subject for me because A, I like her later voice better. Mm-hmm. B, I'm against censorship in any way. So I'm torn on that. I've never been more torn on much else.
Well, what about the fact that the original voice was an error?
I don't even think it was an error. I think, wasn't it that the parents complained, oh, they made her sound kind of dopey, and we think that makes fun of people.
Yeah, that was the complaint, but the error was that Tabitha St. Germain, who was voicing
and
Derpy
she thought it was a boy.
Thought it was a boy.
She still made him sound really stupid, though. I can't lie. You okay, Rainbow Dash?
Well, gee, look at how they portray guys in this world.
Big Mac, one of the most awesome characters.
Without Big Mac. Okay, they're either silent, Spike, Mr. Cake, or idiots.
What about Flim and Flam? They're definitely not idiots. They definitely know what they're doing.
Or villains.
See, I wouldn't even call them villains.
Okay, antagonists.
I don't even know if they're antagonists. They're just kind of there, and some people disagree with them.
I don't know what you'd consider them.
Plot devices.
Whatever the hell you would put, like, Somber and Discord in them under.
Crystals.
Crystals.
It's kind of sad that The Fall of the Crystal Empire, a fan made better dialogue than this show did for him.
Right.
Well, he had a line something like, I can taste your malice, or something like that.
Nah, it's, I can taste your wrath.
Yes. I think that, as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that on a worst list? Like somebody's top 10 worst pony videos or whatever?
No, I think someone actually made an everything wrong with it video.
Oh, well yeah, but that gets made about a lot of great things.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim.
We watched one about Maleficent earlier.
No, I haven't even seen that movie yet. Nor do I intend to.
Neither have I.
Sing what?
Well, Magnificent.
I love it.
A friend of mine just messaged me. She found a fully sealed VHS copy of the Rocky Horror Picture Show at a thrift store.
What?
Which is funny because Tim Curry always seems to come up in these vlogs, so it's strange that she should message me right now about that.
Holy crap, I just realized that he does come up in this.
What if Tim Curry played Sombra? I can taste your wrath.
That'd be a little... That wouldn't fit.
No, I like that one better. I can taste your wrath.
Because hell, look at Sombra's entire design.
Apparently he didn't see Luna's wrath coming.
No. But still, look at Sombra's design. Nothing about that screams subtle.
True. Well, I don't know. There was nothing subtle about Dr. Frankenfurter either.
True.
He's just a sweet
Or
transvestite.
Pennywise.
Well, Pennywise was horribly
was
made.
not subtle.
I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed that. If it had just been the movie, I would have liked it. But I keep going back to the book and thinking, empty eye sockets, rotting flesh, scary clown, bleeding from the mouth, sharp fangs,
Oh,
and they
that's
turned it
how
into
they
that.
describe Pennywise?
Well, he starts off as kind of a happy clown when he sees Georgie, but when they start to see his true form, like they see empty eye sockets, they see sharp teeth, kind of like what they
Before he
Georgie
turns
saw.
into the spider, so the spider doesn't just come out of frickin' nowhere?
Well, technically, he turns into this. Oh God, this is so. I'm gonna lend you the book because I can't even explain this. It makes sense in the book, though. I'll tell
Maybe
you that
after I finish reading Clockwork Angels.
Oh my God, though, there's so much they cut out. Like, there's a whole scene in the book that explains how it came to Earth, and talks about that he had a part in the extinction of the dinosaurs. It's like so much stuff, so much background that they just took out in the movie. Made it so much more of an ominous villain, a very one of the scariest villains I've ever seen.
Say, has anything like the inspiration manifestation showed up in King's work? Or imagine if King had it.
If King had it,
If King had the spell.
we would live in a very terrifying world. Speaking of which, in the comics, Pennywise
Where
shows
he gets
up.
to redesign things as any way he sees fit.
He would probably design like the world from the Dark Tower.
Really?
Because like that's what he says.
Well, it doesn't seem to create living things. It seems to create inanimate.
Well, the interesting thing about the Dark Tower is that it kind of connects everything in a way that the way King sees the universe is the same way I see my literary universe. It's real, it's just in another dimension. And he even puts himself in the Dark Tower, himself. They meet him.
Interesting.
It is, and he does it well, though. I thought it was going to be dumb, and he did a very good job of it. Well, he's writing for himself. It's not
I
that
think Nostalgia
difficult.
Critic did something like that.
Probably.
But it was at the end of To Boldly Flee. It was the Nostalgia Critic meeting Doug Walker.
What would happen if Rocky and Golden Scales met Nick and Matt?
That'd be amusing.
Well, exactly what Stephen King said to Roland. I created you. Of course, at that point, they met him in 1970 something where he had tossed the book aside because he thought it was dumb. And look what it turned into. Actually, he says in the book, that's why he wrote the rest of the series, is because Roland came to him and said, you need to finish this series. I've got all the books if you want to borrow them. But back to this. It is connected because this universe does have multiple layers. We know that. Because the mirror reflections are because of a lot of different things.
Yeah, but note how... have you read the Reflections arc yet?
Not yet. I have all the comics on my computer, though. I just downloaded them one piece at a time and gave up. But I found a comic book reader that doesn't load up. It was the comic book reader that gave me that virus.
Oh.
I downloaded one right from the Windows Store this time, though.
That's good.
One good thing about Windows 8, the Windows Store. At least you know what you're getting from there. Kind of saves you a bit of effort, but the operating system just sucks. Oh, and I do have something to mention, speaking of sucks.
Alrighty.
Crack cocaine. The glass dick. She turned City Hall into a glass dick.
As you get that from the word suck. Of course.
Well, let's ignore that because I'm just putting that together now. She turned City Hall into a large phallus. Walt Disney would be proud.
A big crystal phallus.
With people trapped inside of it.
I'm not sure what that says about Twilight getting him out.
I'm not even going to touch that. Oh my God. Well, it wasn't really Rarity. It was some force possessing her.
Yeah, where do you think that went?
Well, where do you think? Philadelphia.
All disasters from Ponyville seem to travel there afterwards.
That's my headcanon. Everything that they get out of Ponyville goes straight to Philadelphia.
The Parasprite Ball, the Rock Explosion.
The Rock Explosion. You'll find out more about that when we do some of our skits. Oh, no, you're talking about the one that Maud threw.
Yeah.
The Rock Maud threw, the asteroid. That's what we're going to talk about in our skits.
Yeah, the Rock Explosion.
That evil green thing that Rarity floated over there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you hear somebody's totally redesigning Philadelphia?
Yeah, it looks horrible. Did you? But apparently the same thing happened to Ponyville. Took 3 princesses to fix it.
Yeah.
Luna was there.
Luna was there. And I'm just imagining the conversation between her and Celestia, though. More importantly, why do I have to go fix it? Because I have things to do. You're sitting on the throne.
I got papers to sign. Later.
Get to it, eventually. And then probably just whatever and flies out in a huff.
Hey, seniority has its privileges. Now go.
Technically, weren't they both there at the same... Well, no, she was gone for 1,000 years.
It was Luna, Cadence, and Twilight fixing up Ponyville.
I can't imagine anyone
Why would
too
you
happy about
convert that gold back to dirt?
Well, here's my... Well, because it would ruin the economy.
True.
But here's my question. Cadence came in all the way from the Crystal Empire. Isn't Celestia like 15 minutes away?
Yeah.
And exactly, like why do we have, like then that's another thing that Luna probably brought up.
She could have her Pegasus guards fly her there.
Exactly. And I can't even imagine Luna saying, why are we bringing Cadence here when you could just do this yourself? I have papers to sign. Cadence is about 4 hours away. You're 15 minutes away. Get off your plot and help.
She's got that super fast train.
True. But still, how much fuel do you think it takes to run that when Celestia could just fly over?
It burns crystal rocks. No, that's her argument.
It burns crystal rocks.
It burns crystal coal.
That's probably when Luna just walks out and says whatever. I feel like Celestia at times might be slightly lazy.
Oh, I would not doubt it. The only reason why she was cleaning up the Parasprite infestation is because...
Luna was still regaining her abilities?
Yeah, Luna was still trying to figure out how the hell the world worked.
What is this? That's a telephone. What is a telephone? Hit those buttons and watch what happens. Someone's in there!
Or just her even stopping to speak in the royal we and the Canterlot voice.
We who? The royal we. I don't know what that means. Let me borrow that because this one's broken.
Oh yeah, that one's dead. I keep forgetting to throw it out.
I'm noticing that I have a lot more fun with the things I think go on in the background of the show than I do with the main stuff actually happening in the show.
That's pretty much how I think of it.
Of course, you mentioned Luna. Obviously, my imagination is going to start working. Don't you say a word because that was poorly worded on every level.
In which ways? With Rocky?
Shut up. Fuck you, man. But back to this episode. I keep going...
You know that we're going to script some lines of her making fun of you for that, too.
Of course. That's part of Rocky's character.
It's just going to be part of our sketches.
Running gag.
Yeah, it's going to be a running gag that...
Just because Luna was my favorite
Rocky
character.
Has a crush on Luna, and Golden's always going to be teasing him about it.
And his reaction is probably usually going to be, shut up!
I have a strange feeling your character might join in on that one. Probably.
Shut up with your face! Shut up with both of your faces! Everyone's ganging up on me. But I keep coming back to Disney's Crystal Phallus there. Have you
Disney's Crystal Phallus?
That's what it's called to me from now on. Well, like Crystal Palace, I get that reference. Wow,
oh God!
I'm cleverer than I think. But seriously, have you seen the cover? Both of you, you've both seen the cover to The Little Mermaid, right? The original with the dick on the cloud.
Duh.
So was the green stuff was Walt Disney's ghost.
What?
The green stuff. Think about it. Making everything shiny and pretty and royal. Making a glass dick. It's Disney's ghost. That green stuff is Walt Disney's ghost.
So Disney's ghost ran off to Philadelphia?
Anything you can imagine, you can make. Look at Disney. And seriously, this is respect.
Holy shit, that's actually a line of theirs.
Yeah. And even Walt Disney.
That's actually a motto of theirs.
Yeah. So that's Walt Disney's ghost. Why it's green, I have no idea. I think like purple, but you know.
Greed? You made that connection earlier.
Greed. The color of envy. greed.
But it seemed more of a generous spell because she wanted to spread what she perceived as
It was
beauty.
more about why she wanted to spread it, just because she thought it was pretty. Why I'd say that.
They brought back Octavia.
Yep.
And good God, they shocked Pinky.
You know what?
They shocked Pinky.
Into silence.
Yes.
But
I
I
don't
have
know
to say
why I
something
couldn't
here.
spit it out.
Rarity, fuck you for ruining that birthday party. You killed the clown, you ruined all the snacks, and you took the mariachi band away.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how that mariachi band change worked.
Cilantro es el hombre con el queso del diablo. Cilantro is the man with the devil's cheese.
Okay. Well, how do you know this shit?
I know a lot of things, well, as you already know, I know a lot of things that I have no idea how I acquired the knowledge of them.
Yeah.
Cthulhu. I knew his name long before I read anything by Lovecraft.
Same here. I knew about Hoster long before I really read Lovecraft and before I even knew who the hell Robert W. Chambers was.
I always want to call him Robert E. Howard for some reason.
You associate him with Lovecraft,
Yeah.
even though he came before.
I gotta look this up. Robert E. Howard. Who is that?
I don't know.
I want to say he wrote what was the inspiration to the Dark Tower. Child roll into the Dark Tower
But
came.
So we're
Robert
going
E.
into
Howard.
kind of different inspirations now.
Okay.
You're quiet.
I am. By the way, the road was gold, right?
Yes.
I felt like saying follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
I'm surprised nobody started singing that when Spike decided to follow it.
You think he would have thought of that sooner?
Follow the yellow brick road.
Oh, he wrote Conan the Barbarian, and he created sword and sorcery.
Oh shit.
So yeah, he's kind of in the mythos.
Yeah.
Because Dave the Barbarian, I almost said. Conan the Barbarian is considered Lovecraftian.
Great show.
Dave the Barbarian is a wonderful show. I want to play the game. I really want to give it a try. Alas, the irony. No thumbs.
Alas, the irony. No thumbs.
I have thumbs. They don't fully work because I have carpal tunnel.
Actually,
It's
that's
getting
not
worse.
the only freaky horse that I've seen in cartoons. There's actually one recently on YouTube, Bravest Warriors.
Never heard of it.
You watch it?
Hmm?
You watch it?
Yeah.
Nice.
What, you're familiar with it?
Yeah.
Catbug is adorable.
Cat dog.
Catbug.
Cat dog.
Good show.
How do they poop?
I don't want to know.
Nobody knows, nobody wants to
They
know.
even bring that up in a lot of
They
a lot of
do bring it up,
episodes.
and everyone wants to know, but at the same time, no.
You ever see the episode of Family Guy where Peter starts singing Cat Dog? He
Yeah.
says, what's his name? He says to
You're
Brian.
a cat. You're a cat dog. Cat dog. Cat
Who's
dog.
And then he goes off on a tangent about why Cat Dog is a horrible show because it's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And how do they poop and all that good stuff. It's probably South Park style. One of them vomits and one of them vomits when they have to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, but think that has to go through the whole digestive tract. Oh, and what about
Do
that?
they have reproductive systems?
I don't know, but do you remember that episode where they figured out how each other's dental system works?
Oh yeah, one candy, the other one's teeth rot.
Oh God, Cat turning himself inside out for that was, that gave me nightmares.
Oh yeah, that made
There's
me
a lot
laugh.
of nightmare-inducing stuff in those shows.
And a lot of Nick shows. Nick was a great channel. I miss Nick.
No wonder I had.
I got Cartoon Network back on my TV too. I'm so happy.
Nice.
I watched King of the
Adventure
Hill
Time?
yesterday. Yep. I am watching more of that. I still don't have a huge knowledge of it though. I'm more focused on My Little Pony right now.
I actually got to catch
Which
up.
is
I'm
strange 'cause
way
we're talking about
behind
everything and everything
the
else.
current season.
Overall, circling back to this episode, I enjoyed this one. I enjoy anyone where Rarity overreacts.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. Can't help but feel a little bit bad for her when she overreacts because, to her that's like the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
She's overreacting. If I was there, I'd probably be like, oh, come on.
Could you? I would like that spell, but it takes out, it takes the personality out of things.
See, I have 1,000 different personalities, so I can take anyone at once.
Yeah, but I'm talking about along the lines of,
Oh, it just makes it all pretty.
yeah, it makes it all pretty and just, it really became generic.
I'm going to stop you there. I
Wait,
said
no.
purty, not pretty.
Whatever.
Cold and wet and dirty, you're looking mighty purty. Harley Poe, anyone?
Unfamiliar.
We have to listen to that right after this. You'll both love it. But anyway,
We always seem to say that, then we just go
oh, it's
straight to the
happening
next
this time.
episode.
I'll hijack the controller. But
Why
this
don't you just play it
episode,
off your phone?
good point. I have it on my iPod, on my Spotify, so I may as well. Yes, Rocky does endorse Spotify. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But what would they call Spotify in the Pony universe?
I don't know. Because honestly,
Ponyfy.
they would probably keep Pandora the same, considering Greek mythology is a thing.
I'd say they just call Spotify Ponify.
Ponify. Do you think Pandora would stay the same?
Yeah, probably.
Because Greek mythology
No,
is...
Pandora.
Nah, because think of it. There is actually... There's Cerberus. There's Tartarus.
Quite. Cerberus.
And keep that in mind still.
And Fluttershy can
'Cause
control Cerberus.
Because I think I mentioned to you to remember that. Like, all the way back when we
I'm guessing it has
watched
something
It's
to
About
do...
Time.
I'm guessing it has something to do with the Centaur thing you showed me the first time you showed me the show.
Yeah, the Centaur is...
But don't tell me anymore. That was my...
I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying I told you to bear that one in mind at the very beginning of Twilight's Breakout and It's About Time, the time travel
Yep.
episode.
You gotta love the continuity in these shows.
Yeah. But yeah, keep that one in mind because it does still play.
Mm-hmm. Does Hades ever show up in this show? I think it's about time he did.
We haven't seen any gods.
I'd imagine Hades
Interestingly
would be...
enough, I think there is a mythology of like, I think it was Helios actually having the sun and the moon pulled by chariots of horses.
Yep, not Helios. Maybe Helios.
Helios and another god. Because Helios was I think Helios was actually the Roman sun god.
Did you play God of War 3?
No.
In a very gory and brutal fashion, you get to tear off Helios' head to use it as a flashlight. Oh yeah, you see stretching and skin and... Oh, it actually grossed me out and I'm a horror freak.
Ugh.
He doesn't cut it off, he pulls it off with his
what about
bare frigging hands.
I actually seen this one cutscene of just when you actually... I forgot which god it is. I think it was Mercury?
Hermes,
The
cut his
speed
foot
guy?
off? Yeah, it's Hermes.
Not the one that you gouge their eyes out. And
Oh,
you
that
see it
was-
from their perspective.
That was Poseidon.
Oh, it was Poseidon?
And you can stretch out the scene where you're beating him too, because if you keep until you hit X, Kratos is just going to keep punching him. Just like with what's his name with Hermes, as you're cutting his foot off, because he cuts off his feet to take his shoes. And there's a scene where he's standing above Hermes while he's on the ground, and I just every time I see it, I automatically assume that Kratos is going to say, "Nice shoes." I think I'll take them. But no, he's got Hermes by the foot, and he's cutting like this, and you can drag that scene out as you want. That's a game for sadomasochists.
Yeah, you get to sit there as long as you want.
Just... And Hermes... Oh, it was actually pretty bad. Cut it off. Cut it faster. Oh, God, that was horrible.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Who? But really, though, Scootaloo plays God of War. You know that now. Well, Scooty Bravo plays God of War.
And she's apparently a sadist.
I'd imagine that Scooty Bravo's into anything and everything. Who?
Pansexual.
Well, obviously.
Clearly.
She hits on colts. She hits on mares. She hits on stallions. Does that... No, she's a kid, so she can't be a pedophile, thank God. But,
She hits on everything.
anything and everything. Hey there, Rock. You look pretty hard. Who? No, that would be Maud.
Yeah, that one trip we have to Ponyville, there we go. We have an adventure with the CMC.
Yeah. Well, here's the discussion Rocky would have with Maud. Luna's obviously cooler. She raises a giant rock. No duh. Bump it. Bring it in.
Yeah, if we go back to your hometown.
Possibly. I mean, Luna's obviously cooler, but anyway. I don't have anything to say about this episode anymore.
Yeah.
We went off on another of our
We went on
famous
another
tangents.
famous tangent.
Seems to be
We at
having...
least get attention from one person. I know that because he comments.
I have... all I can really say is that by the time Season 4 comes around, we don't have much more to say that hasn't already been said about the characters.
Yeah.
So really what we're doing is like commenting on the episode and then just commenting on what we thought happened in the background.
Pretty much, and then we go on our random tangents from there about whatever.
Walt Disney.
They get their little mini reviews throughout stuff.
What did I call it? The crystal phallus.
Crystal
But
Phallus.
I had something before that too. I had another adjective for it. Disney's crystal. It was Disney's crystal phallus.
Yeah.
But Walt Disney universe now. Maybe that's where he went. He wanted to go to an animated universe
A much more successful one now.
without any Jews.
Jews.
Wow.
I don't think Walt Disney wasn't actually an anti-Semite. I mean, I read this story. The reason they thought that, he had a worker that was Jewish and he went to work for another company, and he said, "Yeah, go hang out with them Jews," and did like this really, really insensitive Jew impression. And when he came back, he said, "Okay, you're welcome back." And when he left again, he said, "Well, there's always going to be a candle burning in the window for you," or something like that. They gave him a really, actually very warm goodbye. So I think he was just upset that he was leaving.
Yeah.
And of course, he's a celebrity, so it got pushed. I think, don't get me wrong, Walt Disney
It
certainly
just
wasn't
got
perfect,
pushed to
but
extremes.
I don't believe he was actually an anti-Semite. Obviously, he was a racist. Obviously, he had some definitely misguided views on...
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay.
But then so did Looney... there's a warning if you buy Looney Tunes on Amazon. It says, please note that there are some stereotypes used in some of these episodes. They were wrong then and they were now. There's a warning about it. Because the original Elmer Fudd was a very, very stereotypical black man.
Elmer Fudd?
Before they had Elmer Fudd. In the episode, they had again, a very stereotypical black man hunting him. Looked like a minstrel. Like, you know what a minstrel show is? Way back in when like blues and folk music started spreading, a lot of the
I always known Elmer Fudd as just the hunter.
Orion is the hunter. Do
Anyway.
not buck with Orion.
Anyway, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, we'll get
The
off
next episode has
racism
been built up
cartoons.
since season 3. The fandom waited a year for it. The next episode is the Equestria Games.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I consider season 3 part of season 4. Season 3 is just one long season for me.
Yeah. Season 3 is just one long
13
season with a big
episodes.
hiatus in the middle.
13 episodes, really?
They really...
What if season 5 was 39 episodes long? I would poop myself. I'm sorry, that's the
I didn't
only
hear
way
that
thing.
it's going to be a long season.
What season?
Season 5.
Hopefully I'm alive to see it. I should probably quit smoking.
Yeah. We'll see you guys after the Equestria Games.